Manifest TV.
Hello viewers, you're most welcome to yet another episode of Soaring with Eagles. We're live on all our Manifest platforms. Please tell a friend to tune in. We're live on YouTube and Manifest TV. Now today, I am joined by a dynamic leader, a seasoned human resource practitioner, and a passionate minister, committed to developing people and shaping futures. Let's dive in and please welcome Mrs. Sarah Kajumba Kwehangana. I've got the name right this time.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you. It's such a joy to have you back on Soaring with Eagles.
Thank you.
That's
Pastor
about how many years? Was it like 2 years ago?
Maybe. They're about 2 years, I believe.
Yes. So the last time you were here, we explored your journey. What it has been like for you since then. So what has it been like since then?
Thank you, Pastor Joy, and thank you, viewers, and those who are listening in. It's always a pleasure to join sessions and conversations like this. And I want to thank God for this opportunity. Yeah, so since we last met, I've been into so many things. So as you know, I'm a mother, I'm an HR practitioner, I'm a minister. So many things have been happening in all those spaces. But really the purpose for which we are here, which is normally really on the professional side, I've grown into my role. I got another position, which is a global HR director for one of the organizations based in the US.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, that's what I'm still doing.
Yes.
And yeah, still same space HR. The changes that really would be jurisdiction, what laws, what policies apply there that are different, but many times it would be the benefits, it would be different things. And of course, the countries I cover are almost similar with the addition of the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what initially drew you into this field?
So HR is one of those things that I always say found me. Yeah?
Okay.
Because my academic background wasn't HR.
Anything
it
to do
was
with HR.
Economics was my first degree, and then I did an MBA in finance, specialization. And then I got into, so while, you know, that time between when you start working and you've graduated, I was in that space and I kept praying and saying, God, I know I've done all these things. So let me maybe backtrack. As a young child, as a young girl, I never knew what I would be. I just knew whatever it is going to be great. From when I got born again, I knew that God had a great plan for me, but you can't touch it. You just know in your heart that you're going to do well. So I would keep telling God where, what, and so I kept praying. Now in that space of waiting to start work, I applied. Like every job, my father used to bring newspapers. He worked for government, so he would come with newspapers every day. So every day I would look at them, and anything that looks like I can do, I would apply for it. So in one of those times, I remember I applied for two jobs, maybe pretty much around the same time. One was a lecturer position, and the other was a consultant, business, I believe it was business development consultant.
Yes.
So I interviewed for the consultant role. They said, oh, you do not have the experience, but we'll take you on as I remember they called me a junior consultant. So sort of like understudying the person that they hired. So that's, I think, how I began my career. And now, while doing that, I must have been like in my 3rd month, the university opportunity also invited me for an interview. I was so young. I always laugh and say, I don't even know how I did it, but I was young. I was in Kampala. I took a bus, went to Mbarara, I believe my father gave me money for accommodation because I stayed, the interview was at the university inn, so I decided to sleep at the same place so that I don't start looking for places. Anyway, to cut it short, I got that job. And when I got it, I was given the courses. So really based on my studying, I had done statistics, so I was given business statistics. I had done quantitative methods, so I was given that. I remember at some point they had someone, so that when I passed it on, HR was part of my courses, so I was given HR as well too. Among the many courses that I did, I was teaching on the business program at Mbarara University. They had opened a department and there was a program of business. So while doing that, because I lectured that and then I also had the teaching background, then an opportunity came up with a bank and they wanted a learning and development manager. So a learning and development manager is a training manager. And now I had both. So the learning and development is in the HR department, and then I had been teaching. So that's how I ended up in HR. Now, because that learning and development manager position is in HR, I got in, and then I started, learning more about the practice of HR. Before I knew it, I would keep asking for more work. And then before I knew it, I knew it all, but I didn't have that qualification. So now that's when I started thinking about, I think it was 5 years into it.
Yes.
I now started thinking about the profession, the qualification. So now I studied HR. I did a certificate with a CIPD, certificate in HR practice. Maybe 2 years later, I got chartered and I became a fellow of the CIPD, actually last year in January. So the fellow is the highest level in that line of that qualification. Yeah.
So what were some defining moments that shaped your career path?
Yeah, so I think for me, the defining moment was the decision to, the first one would be the decision to move from the lecturing position, because that was a government body. Those days, being in a government job meant security. And I joined a bank which was very new in the market. But I remember telling my friends, because those were questions, everyone is asking you. My dad asked me, my friends asked me, are you sure about this decision? I just knew God wanted me to do it. You have that faith of, there's something about this decision. So I did it. It was a risk, by the way. And I know men of God have preached about it. Man of God also preached. Faith is a risk. You're just saying, I am believing this because I feel that it's the right decision. So for me, that was defining, because if I never took that, maybe I would still be actually in the academic field. Because I'll tell you, anything I touch, I must do it to the best. I had already started my proposal for PhD, in the years that I'd done, I think they were about close to 3 years. I'd already done it. So I was going to actually do the academia all the way. But that call,
end up a professor or something.
But that call that came and asked me, we have this position, would you like to do it? My first answer was yes. Even when I didn't know, by the way, what the job was about. Just know that I learned everything along the way, the JD, I carried my CV, everything else worked out, but my first answer was yes. So for me, I said that yes is a defining factor. The next defining factor is me then choosing to professionalize and do this job well. So now you're in HR, then what? Because I still love teaching. I believe I might still end up there.
Oh.
Yes, I think. So I still do the teaching. I still do things like that.
Where do you do the teaching?
In my profession, I still find myself doing presentations, doing content, taking people through. So it's something that I feel I never walked away from. I've continued to do it, But the decision to now professionalize and do HR well is another defining moment. I think the final one was, I took a decision to do an HR role outside my country. I did Juba for South Sudan with the bank for 9 months. That decision was, could I say, a stepping stone for me now to be into senior management.
So you were in South Sudan for 9 months?
Yes, okay. I used to come back home and all that.
Yes.
But the decision to say yes when that call came, because the call came and said, we have this, it's short term. Actually, I was first told it's 3 months. It's short term. We want you to do it with senior CV, but we want you to do it so that it was an opportunity to gain experience, not just in HR, but in leadership, because then I was sort of leading the team in the bank in South Sudan. So when that decision happened, it was because when I did it, it was 3 months, then they kept increasing until it ended up being 9 months. That piece of my CV then catapulted me to the next level, which is the top level. So that's how I entered. I started doing senior management position, exco positions, director positions. That's the other turning point. And I like to highlight it because I know you're a mother, you're a wife, you have a life, and now you're stepping out of all that to build a piece of that career. I feel like even that time, I felt the Lord telling me to do it because it would take me. I've not had to do other long-term ones out of my normal setting, but that helped. So I feel like that was one of the turning points because being away from home. My daughter was 3, maybe 2.5. So I had to do a lot of setup to make sure she's well catered for. Obviously, I'm a wife. And I have other, when you're living in a place, your life is ingrained in all those things now, stepping out. So for me, that decision to say yes, to take on that international position, I feel helped me, because then when I came back, I remember my then head of department left, and then I acted, because now I had acted in a similar role in another country. I was able to act here, the opportunity became vacant, and then now I took on the role, and it's never gone back. I've been at head of department level going forward. So that decision, I believe, is one of those. The decision to professionalize and be certified as an HR practitioner has also helped me, because I've then done roles in different countries. Because what I did was not a local, it's not just Uganda, it's international. It can be recognized in every jurisdiction that I go to. So that decision to do that, very expensive, very time consuming, but also very beneficial. I feel that decision as well has helped me and continues to do that. And that's why I even wanted to do it up to the final, which is being a fellow, because after fellow, then you've arrived. You've done it.
You've done everything.
Yeah, you've done everything in that.
So what has been one of your biggest professional challenges? Have you had any challenges?
So professional challenges, I wouldn't call them challenges. I would just, I want to make it like, so our profession is one of those that continues to change, but more so because everybody feels they can do HR. Like, when you're in an organization, everyone feels like they know your job. They can do it without necessarily knowing that there are rules that govern it, there are policies, there is a law that governs our practice. And so you find that you're always reminding people, if we do this, this will breach this policy. But more so for me, it's been the law. So being able to ensure that my peers, especially the senior executives, know what the law is. My senior executives understand that if we take this decision, we are going to, if we any decision we take can actually cause the organization to get into a problem. It can be legally binding. It can be legally challenged. So you know how they've always said, oh, this person owns this organization, so they can wake up and fire that person.
Yes.
if I'm the HR in that place, it's not possible, because you must go through all the legal steps that have been provided, because when you do, then you've covered them. So ensuring that these people know, that the senior executives know that you are there to help. You're not just there to do your job, but your advice actually adds value. But also for the people, because so sort of HR sort of balances the organizational senior management and all the policies and everything with the people that we've hired and the people that we lead. So HR is able to balance that and say, okay, if we take this, it's going to create this. If we do, and especially in this age where well-being, mental health, those things are now talked about a lot, and so that they are just talked about, people are actually experiencing them. So being able to balance what we want, these targets must be achieved, we must do 1, 2, 3, profitability, but also balancing it with, if we make people work 7 days a week, how is their mental health going to be? But are we actually not in breach? Because the law also governs how many hours people should work. Things like those. Yeah.
Now, this mental health issue, where has the shift come from? Way back, it wasn't something that was discussed much. Why is it something that is really prevalent right now in our society?
So I know there are many schools of thoughts, and people have said all kinds of things in terms of where it's coming from. People are no longer as strong as they used to be. But if you asked me, the way we grew up, Pastor Joy, by the time I get to know what is happening in the next district, a lot of time has passed. Today, anything that happens, it's on your phone. You get it? So I feel like information is too much. So it has opened up to people to, could I say, a lot of information, a lot of both. By the way, it's information is there in both ways, both positive and negative. So you find that if you're not managing or guarding your emotional well-being, you'll be sucked into that. Because there's a lot of negativity going around, but there's also a lot of positives. Yeah. Today you'll get
I guess it's a choice you decide.
Yes. So I feel that
either this positive or negative.
Yeah, so I feel that it's the information availability, but also information like removes borders. So cultures have been infiltrated. So what works in one culture does not work in another. So you'll find, like in an organization, we are trying to balance that and saying we have to prevent people. For example, let me give an example of discrimination. We need to protect people from discrimination. Why? Because one culture, what you feel is okay is not. Yeah? And then we are training people in unconscious bias. Yeah? You're telling them this, the way you were raised and the way so-and-so was raised, what is okay is not okay. So you find that all our internal support systems have all been affected by this whole information era. So I feel like that's what has now, because of that, it then also makes people feel like, not feel like, but it also creates an opportunity for you to then guard yourself and ensure that what you are concentrating on, and the Bible tells us that whatever things are good, whatever things have good report, think on those things. If you're not thinking and guarding yourself and listening or reading what is positive, then you'll find yourself on the negative.
Yes.
But then, of course, there's also the expectation. So people are working, overworking, then their minds are getting tired. And then to the extent that actually my line manager got me a coach, someone to just talk me through how to balance it, because I was tending to the point of saying, am I doing the right thing? Should I actually still come back to work? I had come back, but I wasn't, balanced. I was feeling like I cannot have my child at home with someone and then I'm here, you know. So I feel like that's the place. But when I got it, because I remember that coach took me through a process of, you know, prioritizing, balancing work. So when I balanced the work, then I was able to know that it can both be done. Yeah, but again, I feel like right now the opportunities are even better. People have places. That time I think it was beginning, because I remember I finally ended up having to take my child to like a daycare, to a place that I knew and stuff like that. It's many years ago, but for us that time it wasn't the norm. It wasn't the norm. It was, you know, you live. So I ended up anyway figuring it out, but that place for me created a place of doubt, of saying maybe I should do one and then come back and do that. And I know people have done it, and honestly, I'm for neither. It's really how you feel. You're being led, and knowing what God wants you to do at that time. So I'm for neither. I cannot say leave and have the children and then come back, or do what I did. I feel like you need to be led and do what you're able. Be led by the Holy Spirit and do what you know the Lord is leading you to do. That's what I would advise someone. So for me, that's the place where I felt, Professionally, no, because like I've told you, I've really grown the career in steps, and it's been, every step has led to another. So I can't say that I've doubted in that space. If anything, I've been a learner. I'm a learner. I'm a constant learner. So as things change, you change with them as well. So I think that's why professionally it's been, it's been a place of, because I know I'm a continuous learner, then I cannot doubt. If something new happens, my default is, what can I get to know about it? How do I learn about this? What more do I need to know? So for me, that's been
okay. So what are some misconceptions people have about your field?
About HR?
Yes.
I feel like people feel we can all do HR. Do we need HR? You've had those conversations.
Not really.
You haven't, I don't want to quote, because I know even
Vine Entertainment Group presents the Moyo Throne Fest on May 9th at Ndere Cultural Center. Experience an unforgettable night of worship with Bunjoville UG, Sandra Sui, Kwezi Godfrey, Brian Lubega, and Nigeria's Floroka. Come hear the sound of heaven live. Tickets are 50,000 silver, 100,000 gold, and 900,000 for a table of 6. Grab yours at carrytickets.com. For reservations, call 0770-857-550 or 0702-300-142. Moyo Throne Fest, powered by Christian Arts Fund, 1-8 Media, Jacobs, JBL Studios, Onomo Hotel, and
Manifest TV. Christ Revealed.
You think you've seen glory, you have only glimpsed the horizon. When you think you have tasted power, you have only sipped a few drops. You think you've touched magnificence, you have only brushed the haim of splendor. My Great Price, Season 8, June 13th, 2026, at the Fanero Grounds in Naguru. Prepare for a whole new level. Expect a higher dimension. Cross into a deeper realm.
And we are looking for a certain anointing on earth. She's anointed. When it comes to being a mother, she is a mother. When it comes to being a wife, she is a mother. When it comes to being a businesswoman, she's one of the best. When you bring a dead body in her bedroom, she does not call for an ambulance.
More is here.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Soaring with Eagles. My name is Pastor Joy Ninsiima, and we are live on all our Manifest platforms. My guest today is Mrs. Sarah Kajumba Kwehangana. Mrs. Sarah Kajumba. Now, there are many people that have been listening to you as you've spoken, and I know they're very inspired by what they're hearing you say about your career path. How can you help them find courses that can lead them into where you've become?
So I feel like right now, in the past, it used not to be so direct. So yes, you wouldn't find an individual, could I say, bachelor's. So you'd find that they are coined in different ways: social work, social business, social sciences, and then people would specialize something like that. But today it's easier. There are bachelors of human resource. So you'll find that in many universities they have it. If it is not even directly written like that, you'll have it as a specialization as you get into your final years. So it's easier now to even start the journey much earlier. Once you have done a bachelor's degree, then you can do a postgraduate diploma or postgraduate really at UMI. I feel like that's been the most common that many people, maybe in my age and above, have done. So there's that, but you can also do a master's as well. So right now it's easy. And then there are the professional courses. I know someone might wonder why do the professional course. For me, I always knew that I was not just going to be destined for Uganda. So I chose a different path to certify. Yes. So which helped really, again, open for me different opportunities. Yes. So I feel like even if you have done the bachelor's, you've done the master's, aim to professionalize with the certification, which right now the options I can use, which are familiar to me really, is CIPD, which is the one I did. It's UK based, but you can do it everywhere. CIPD stands for Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. And so you'll find there's foundation, there's chartered, there's fellow. So you can build your journey. But even when you have the experience, you find they can assess you and you skip like the foundation. Yes. So if someone already has like the bachelor's, it might be easier to do that. Then there's also Society of Human Resource Management, that's US, SHRM. That's also another arm of certification, so you can also use that. That's also international. So if you want to do international, it's easier when you've done those international ones to then look out for international bodies,
international organizations.
Yeah, but if your destiny is Uganda, and that's your
then
dream,
just do the degree,
yes, do the degree. You can do the UMI. The UMI helps you to, the postgraduate really helps you to ground the things that you've learned. You all know that when we've done the bachelor's, you're even still in that place of asking yourself how. So for you to ground yourself, then you do those other postgraduates, masters, and all that. But of course, even the practice, the on-the-job also helps. That's why I said you can even skip, depending on your experience, you can skip certain levels in certification, because then if they can assess and place you, and then you do an assessment, an exam, and so for me, I think that's what I would recommend.
Right. Yeah. How do you stay relevant and keep growing?
Yeah, so again, professionally, for me, it's been being part of those bodies that I've mentioned. So as a member of a CIPD, for example, I receive magazines, I receive free courses. Like if I want to do a course every week, I can actually do it because they are available. Then I have a platform where I can go and get templates. Like being part of those kinds of bodies helps you to stay relevant. In Uganda, there's the HR Managers Association of Uganda. It's another platform where members, HR professionals, you need that to be a member, because when you're there, again, continuous learning. There'll be free workshops, there will be those that you're paid for, but also people like myself are invited to speak in such places. So you find that as a young professional, you need to be part of such. So for me, that's how I keep myself. So if I'm not speaking, I'm attending those conferences. I am reading, I am speaking. If I have to speak, I need to research and read more. So that keeps me relevant. So being a member of professional bodies, and it's not just even for your profession. If you feel you want to grow into a certain area, find what works in that area. So I'm speaking about HR. Yours could be finance. Look for SEC. Look for finance bodies. Yours could be marketing. There's, I believe it's Chartered Institute of Marketers. Yes, CIM. Do that. Professionalize. So I feel like for you to stay relevant, stay in the spaces that keep you. Just like with being a believer, if you're not reading your Bible, you're not listening to sermons, you'll not grow. So it's the same thing as in your profession.
What skills have you had to intentionally develop over time?
Professionally, I've intentionally had to be relevant with what is going on, because when I know what's happening, if I do not know about it, then I'm intentional to learn. So some of the things have been, of course, leadership. Leadership is learned. So I've attended a lot of leadership programs, women in leadership, senior management leadership programs to enable me keep up to date. I've attended board trainings because I've done boards. I sit on boards, so I've had to develop that as a skill. What do you need to do to be a board member? What conversations happen? So those are some of the things. Stakeholder management. Stakeholder management is one of those things that is so underrated, but yet it is very key. If you're in a team and you do not know how to manage everybody, you don't know how to manage your boss, your team, the customers you guys have, or, everybody, other different functions, you can fail because you cannot do it on your own. So I've had to continuously learn how to do that. I think the other thing that I feel has helped me as me has been continuously learning how to prioritize, reprioritize, and manage time. Because as you can imagine, I'm a very busy person.
Yes,
but I get things done. And it's because I'm so interested in knowing how do I manage my time. So you'll find I have my calendar, I'm looking at it. You'll find I'm saying, okay, I was meant to do this, let me move it to tomorrow, to another time. That's a skill that I feel like you cannot be taught. You have to manage it yourself. Keep learning, hearing, reading, but also practicing so that you balance out. Otherwise, either you'll burn out or you'll fail to deliver.
Yes. So let's talk about the challenges that women or men face in your industry. Because I guess it's both a female and male career.
I the challenges, I think there's something I'd earlier mentioned, the fact that people feel they can do away with the profession and therefore anybody can do it. So the challenges that would come out with that is if you hire the person who is not qualified, they will cause you to make errors, and correcting them, most of those errors, HR related, can be costly. Let me give an example of safety. You've hired someone, they do not know how to, maybe even in your team, you do not have someone who knows how to ensure that every place is safe and all that, and then someone is injured at the workplace, and maybe even they did not guide that you need to have insurance as an organization to cover against accident. Like it's so many things that will lead. So I always feel like HR related errors are very costly because they involve life. Someone can die, but they also involve livelihood. Everyone who is there represents a family, represents a community. So they are costly, but they also can affect you as an individual. So I feel like HRs always have to be in a space where they reconnect as professionals to maybe discuss what is going on. This is, or even have platforms. So, for example, I mentioned HR Managers Association. We have other platforms, WhatsApp groups, and people just come on and post, oh, I have this challenge. Most times they will not want to disclose. So they will always say, my friend has asked, but they actually will get the advice. So the challenges that could have been faced, and now because with information and connections, it is easy now to navigate them. Yes. So people will just come and ask a question and they'll actually get responses. They might not get the direct response for your issue, but like 4 or 5 people will give their opinions, and you'll go back and figure out how to handle this going forward. So I feel like, yes, there are challenges, but they can be managed. And as we are connected, you've made professional friends. Then I think the biggest cheerleader that any organization or any HR can have is being in sync with your legal team. I found that as one of the best experiences that for me as an individual helps. So whatever letter that you're drafting, and you'll be drafting and you have templates. But if I'm creating a new template and this is something I'm thinking about and it's something new, maybe a new situation, I'll say, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? If you're restructuring, you'll have to give people communication about that. You take it to the lawyer and say, this is it. Is there anything in the law that you feel has not been?
Yes.
It has not been taken, and they will advise you. So if you choose to feel like you know everything, if you feel like you know everything, but also we now have opportunities of their labor conferences, so people come and speak, lawyers come. So there's a lot of support, I should say, than many years when some of us got into the profession.
Have you ever had to prove yourself in certain spaces?
Prove myself. I think before I professionalized and certified, yes, I would have to be explaining how am I in HR, because I told you I was economics as finance. The only thing I have is my title, which is learning and development, and then someone is saying, okay, but once I had my qualification,
you began to feel
I just throw it. As long as I put it there, it is now for you to figure out, okay, yes.
I can imagine what your CV looks like.
Pastor Joy. Yeah, it's great, of course, but what I'm trying to say is proving you don't have to prove yourself if you've done certain preparation. If you haven't prepared, then every time you have to prepare your pitch in a different way. So I'll give an example. That opportunity where I had to work out of the country was another one of those things that I was trying to prove myself. So at that point, I had just finished the first level of the qualification, but remember, as much as I've done this experience, no one has tried me out. So that point I had to prove myself. Was taken in a different setting, different country, sat there, did all the work that has given, policy reviews, different things, because we had an outfit, or we had a presence in the country, but then we are looking at ensuring we are in compliance and all that. So I had to do that for now, then to come back. Now, when I did that, nobody now, even in the organization, is doubting that you can't do it. You've done it in another setting. So that's maybe one of the examples where I can say I had. But indeed, when you've prepared and you've qualified, and it becomes easier.
Who are you intentionally raising or mentoring?
I won't mention names, but I'll just mention categories. I think the first one category is my children, biological and non-biological, those who are in my care, those ones on a daily. We will start with a devotion, and then we'll speak about life. When they come back in the evening, I'll ask how your day was, and then speak. And they are individuals, so I'm not saying I do it together. They are all individuals going through different aspects of their lives.
So you sit with each one?
Yes, not I can't say that every day I have to do that, but like every day, where I started with the devotion is that's my opportunity to speak into their lives. So depending on what the devotion is, then one of us will be the one leading prayer that morning as we are going to school. That's my fast. Like it's my core, it's my intention. Whether I'm in the country or not, I will call, did you guys do it in my absence? They must do it. Now they are older, so they know that they are able to do it. The other categories, I'm a mentor with Girls for Girls. So Girls for Girls does different mentorship cohorts of all walks of professional works. So I do that as a voluntary piece. So every cohort will have like six sessions. So you are directly mentoring people. I've also done the HR cohort specifically because then you're speaking into the lives of the profession, but also as part of the HR Managers Association. Again, then I also have people there that I mentor. And then there are people who have reached out directly and said, I would like you to mentor. Now, those ones, I'm very selective again because of that time. So it must be that I feel like the Lord is leading me in that. Otherwise, I try to say, okay, there's this piece, this place that I'm a part of. Right. You can go there and we will, even if it's not me, there will be people that mentor you. So I do that as well to make sure that I manage my individual time.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to young women stepping into your path?
Yeah, they should be brave and strong. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So a young woman out there, you are thinking about HR, I would say it's doable, it's possible, but it will also require you investing in your early years. I'm reaping from my investments in the early years. Yeah?
The earlier you start,
the better. So learn as much as you can, be available. I remember the opportunities that for me to learn other HR aspects, because remember I told you I entered as a training, learning and development manager to join that team. But because I kept being available, I would keep telling my supervisors, is there anything else? So they would keep adding me in addition to my core job. So I would keep adding other HR aspects. So before I knew it, I knew everything, but nobody considers me as an HR person. So that's why I was then drawn to certify and get the qualifications. So I would say be available to learn. I feel like the young generation wants everything to
happen
popcorn,
very quickly.
Instant coffee,
Exactly. They want to your job.
Yes. But you have to invest in that time. Wake up earlier than other people. Read. Get in early. Do extra. And that extra pays off with time. You don't know when that skill that you learned comes. And there are things I used to do that I learned long ago and I didn't even think that maybe I will need them. But I was doing them to support my team, to support my supervisors, to make sure that I learn more. Yeah. So I feel like a young person a young lady needs to do that. But then too, I think as ladies, we also have the extra let me not call it a burden, but you have to balance your life. Because you'll get married, you are a wife, you are a mother, but your profession also, you feel like the brothers you joined with are leaving you. So being able to balance that, and that's why I said borrowing time from the night. So for me, I was this kind of person when the children were younger, I was younger in marriage, I'd make sure I'm available, everyone, you do everything with them, then people sleep. Then I will find a way of waking up earlier than others and do that extra. You get it? If I'm doing a course, I would do like weekends, I will wake up maybe very early, do it from maybe 7, let me even just say 6, 7, 8, 9. So when everybody is now available to do the day, I have done some bits. So don't oversleep. Like use your time, because that time you lose does not come back. And the older you become, the busier you become, the more opportunities, the more. For us, we just don't even do profession, we also do ministry. You must also be available on that side. So how do you balance all that if you are sleeping 12 hours a day? You get it? Yeah. So I feel like that the young lady needs to hear that. You will indeed do extra. You will indeed do more time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what gaps do you see in your industry that need to be addressed? Do you see any gaps?
I wouldn't say that I can categorize them as gaps. I feel like as a profession, we are continuously checking in, we are continually aligning, and the profession continues to present certain proposals, and so those are some of the things that I feel ultimately will govern and help the profession, because right now, as I mentioned, you'll find a small factory has someone, they call them HR, the person has even maybe not done the course, does not even know what they are doing. But once those that clarity comes in place, which I know the bill is before Parliament, once that is done, some of those things will actually be addressed. Because those are the ones you'll always hear. Someone does something and they're like, are you sure that's an HR person? Because we now know what an HR person is. So once those things are in place, then it becomes easy for even organizations to say, for me to hire someone in this profession, they should have 1, 2, 3. And I see that coming. Those days are coming closer. That's so great. I feel like that gap will actually be addressed.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So what kind of legacy are you building through your work?
My legacy, if you ask me, legacy through my work, my legacy is more on the ministry side, if you asked me.
Can we talk about that?
When I
quickly?
look at...
Because we have only 3 minutes.
Okay, so when I look at how I will end, I for sure know its ministry will be above the profession. Yes, I'll continue with the profession. I'll continue to do things, but for me, it's been ministry. I know that I'm called of God. I know that that's my destiny. I know that, and even the things that I'm doing now, even the way my profession has shaped to me being flexible enough to, they've called me and said, oh, would like you to minister in this place. I'm now available. That's how my profession has been structured. That's how my work is structured, that I am available now to do that, because I'm seeing myself that is the end. Okay. The profession will always be there, but yeah, so that's why I did Bible school. That's why, you know, I've done things already set up to ensure that I will not just be remembered for my profession, but I will be remembered for what I have done for the Lord. Yeah.
Wow. So how do your values influence the way you lead and serve?
So my values, for me, the first thing that I always, and that's a scripture that I always look at, whatever you do it as unto the Lord. So for me, that's the backbone. I could do something and maybe in your eyes, it does not look perfect. But for me, as long as I know that this is unto the Lord, that the decisions I'm taking will serve my God better, and that when I'm weighed against what the Lord expects me to, it will pass. That is for me the biggest backbone that I have. So everything that I do it as unto the Lord. I've said that in the places of work I've been, even as I advise young people, I always say, are you aligned? Like, what does the Lord, what are you doing? Excellency. You must be excellent. And once you know that you're aligned to God, excellency follows. The gifts follow. The promotions follow. Because remember, promotion comes from the heart, from the Lord. The Lord who looks at your heart will promote you. So it's all coming to that place of saying, what is your purpose? What are you looking at? For me, it's the Lord. Am I doing this as unto the Lord? Yeah.
Wow. So we have come to the end of the show. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. As you said, you're very busy. So we do not take it lightly that you are able to come, and we give God the glory. So I would like you to look into the camera and give your parting shots.
Okay, thank you, Pastor Joy. Indeed, it's been a pleasure, an opportunity. So for someone who is out there and you're asking yourself, I'm talking to a young person, you haven't even reached the place of choosing a career. God's got you. I think that's one of the things of knowing that the Lord has a plan for me, a plan to prosper me and not to harm me, a plan to give me an expected end. That scripture, Jeremiah 29:11, has helped me always refocus. Even when I'm beginning to be shaky, I know that the Lord has a plan for me. So I don't want you to doubt. I want you to know, rehearse it until it is part of your well-being, a part of your being, and know that the Lord has a plan for you. Right now, it might look like you don't know where your profession is, you don't know where you're leading, but the Lord has you, the Lord knows you, and He's going to help you. The Bible says that the steps of a righteous man are ordered by God, so He will guide your steps. One thing will lead to another. As you've already seen, my career has not been that straight, so it's not like I woke up and I was in this profession, but I was led of the Lord. I kept hearing His voice. When He said, say yes, I did say yes. And that yes led to another. So I want you to be encouraged and to know that it is well. You will end well. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sarah Kwehangana, for spending time with us. So viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, may the Lord bless you, expand your territories and borders, lay His hand upon you and keep you far away from evil. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Manifest TV, Christ Revealed.
Apostle Grace is the visionary founder of Phaneroo Ministries International, a dynamic and rapidly growing ministry headquartered in Uganda. Through his guidance, Phaneroo has become a beacon of transformation, touching lives